So this is called History Lessons. You ask, does the body know its own history? Sometimes it gets you mixed up with the people on the radio, but you can't seem to fall asleep without them. You bring home a stranger who tells you he has trouble with the night. He sits in the open window and watches you for hours. When you wake, all you have left is the humming and the door propped open by what was once the breath of him, your body, as if opening its shutters too quickly. It seems to go, but only fades in and out at intervals, a ghost craft. You follow its trail of invisible ink. You turn up the volume on the radio. The bomb explodes again and again. The day has come to remember it. Hiroshima, the definite article. But why not the breathing? Could it be that every bomb since then is just an echo? Then, an unmarked outcropping. You collide with it. Then. At some point you just stop counting. Could it be that every year is falling through the same unbroken window, where every breathing thing below is just geometry? A ghost craft, whose wing is fixed in echo, whose weight is greater than the breathing of so many. The air it displaces, it comes looking for you. This is called The Frequencies. Sometimes I think I'm a tree, the utility pole that history made of that yellow pine shipped west from the mills of Mississippi, sheathed entirely in staples. Run your fingers up and down my goalposts, those little almost squares which cover me, anomaly as true as foliage. My stuck-in halos, through which I was last seen at the yard sale on the corner of the opening on Thursday and the after-party on Sunday for the 8th anniversary of the March Against the War in the park, or for the boy who was shot in the back when he tried to run away from the police. He was 19 years old. And they say he was already running before he even got on the bus. He was black and he was alive and he didn't pay his fare and he ran. 10 times he was shot in the back. The police say no, say not their guns can fire a shot like that, say it was he, it was the boy himself who shot himself, who shot him. What does it matter, the who, the size of the caliber, after 10 times kills anything remotely resembling a him or a them? A who, caliber, the internal diameter of a boy gone, 10 times gone. What I mean is history. Time is always getting rained on and peeling, outlived by the tooth that put it there, metal or otherwise. The weight of all those wires above and the voices stuck inside them, and when are they going to fall? This is called The Stencil. On 18th Street, right over there, on 18th Street near the corner of Gone is still going on, a block away from 200 years ago, and the underground stream of sorrows which came to name this neighborhood. Someone has written, there is so much to mourn. Negative space is carved, is prior and palliative, is the light it leaves on the sidewalk, the spray paint through a little paper window. There is the noun of not, and the sentence ends there, and that's why. So much breath is neither self nor shadow. Here is shrinking, there, a permanence of there. The past will begin at the time of this recording, a naming or a not, how this water is unrecognizable, the pavement, if to make it happen backwards. The sounds no longer show their faces, if to hear them here. Bring them here. And this is the last poem. It's called The Bathers, and there are some religious quotations, which you'll probably notice, from the 4th century AD by Cyril of Jerusalem and St. John Chrysostom. They're about baptism. The bathers. There is a concrete groove chewed into us, river, as if us were prior, sedimentary. I have put off my garment, how shall I put it on? Pronoun as if a prehistoric. We might touch it by rolling down the window. The surface pins its name on each approaching gesture, and we're not ashamed. Land, a place to land, a channel for water to be water but less than flood. It steals the gray from scarp, color of emptiness, and grinds it. Arrow to never the flora of traffic, particulates of ash, how like a confession. It shows the sky our daily hunger and our aimlessness. We believed our city a sad acknowledgement of water's brevity, the muck of it. You were naked in the sight of all, the peril of being water under so much so soon. Fire, more naked than gravity, we pulled it over our head, the stain of who was fledgling, as if we slipped into our body the moment it was occupied, the moment it was river, as if the precedent returned and thickened into somehow. Fire reveals so little of its surroundings. For a while we wore it around our neck, and we're not ashamed. More naked than the mind in us, could it be the least human part of us? How beauty lacks intention, and this is why the body, you are naked, as if a kite floating somewhere above the mind, the doctrine of a well-considered life, for nothing perceivable was handed over to us, coiled arrows of craving, of river to be river. Ground beneath the ground harbored the string of it, the weeds pushed through their bright. You are naked in the sight of all, their levitating streaks of anyway, inevitably. Our hand went up and down, a kind of pulley, the red proof of desire, as if we stepped out of the body in us, which is always the color of lights in certain cities, the creature in us, for nothing perceivable was handed over to us. We pulled it over our head, a key attached to red elastic, stiff white towel, bottle of antiseptic, a sacrament. You were led to the holy pool. Again and again it leaves an indelible seal. It cannot be repeated, say the fathers, but what of the myriad inside the fiction of skin, the envelope, those things which were done by you in the inner chamber, total immersion of the myriad, each the other's bishop, red weaver bird peeling off its feathers, an arrow to never the wrongness. Our body was clothed in a color that could only be removed in sex. The ghost in us was multiplying. Thanks.